things going to places, right? He's just, I think he's got sick and tired of being small, and he's planning to do something really big now, right? And it sounds like, it's amazing. He was even in the business in 2009. The next person coming up and speaking is a guest speaker, and I still consider my car outside pretty new. I mean, if you guys see my Mercedes, but it looks to me, I still think it's a new car, right? Is anyone else? I think it's, is that what we're going to do first? We're going to do Ian first? Oh, it is Ian, okay. This is all scheduled, we moved them around, right? So, this was crazy about a guest speaker here. My car is pretty new. Some people just think that, it's going to take so long to build a business. It seems like I just bought my car. It still seems new. I haven't even thought about buying a new one, right? It's still, I had to go back and get my jump drive, which I left home, right? And I pulled out again. I was kind of going quicker. This thing flies. It's almost as fast as a Ferrari, and it doesn't look like a Ferrari, right? So it's surprising. I've never got pulled off from a red light. I've never had a car, anybody ever that's competed, right? Well, even in the dust, sometimes they're really surprised, especially when it's like a Corvette or something like that. The thing really moves, right? So, but anyway, so it's fun. But my point is, I bought that car, and it still seems like a new car. Our guest speakers weren't even in the business when I bought that car. That's just amazing. So how quickly can you go from nowhere to an NST being a guest speaker around the country making big money? And about the same time somebody buying a new Mercedes today, and in a few years they're going to still think it's a new car and you can be an NST making big money. You know what I'm saying? As I look at it from that perspective, I go, these guys, they just barely joined the business. I mean, I was in business a long time before I could afford a $120,000 Mercedes. Right? And these guys weren't even in the business, and now they're guest speaking for us, right? And I'm really enjoying that. Last time we went and got some pizza and stuff, and I'm really enjoying getting to know these guys. I think we're going to learn a lot from them. Is they bring something a bit different to the table, and they got a lot of how-to and how they built their business. And today, Ian and Jessica are going to tell us exactly how they built their business. And I really appreciate them coming out and spending some time with the hierarchy, because they got lots of kids at home, right? Somebody's having to give them Cheerios this morning, and that's pretty. We should thank your in-laws, right, for doing that. But wait a second. You're starting, okay. Ian doesn't want to see you speak, huh? Okay, so Jessica's going to be the first one out, right? And in Primerica, he doesn't. I thought you were going to miss your wife's talk here. So, but anyway, so Jessica is going to be, and I love to hear from the partners, especially when sometimes one person's getting all the attention, and then you get like a jab on markup. You go, wow, she brings a lot to the table, right? So I'm sure Jessica's going to bring a lot to the table over here, and I haven't even heard her speaking before because I went out to Detroit. She wasn't even speaking there. So let's give it up for the incredible partner to NSD and
So I'm going to kind of pick up, hopefully all of you guys were there last night, on kind of Ian's story and incorporate my twist on it, I guess you can say. So we were both working at the church. I was the office manager. I pretty much ran the entire church and kind of told everyone what to do, which is a good skill that I carry on in my life. But so Ian did the music and I was in the office. So pretty much that is the only time we saw each other. That was the bonus. Like, newly married, we worked together, serving God, and it was great. So this pay cut happens, and he goes and literally calls me on the church phone to tell me that he signed up for this Prime America thing, and I'm like, what? And he hangs up on me at the church. And I got to kind of like still look like, I love God, and yeah, great, okay, So anyways, he starts, doing this thing, and so as he was saying, I did not see him but the church, and now I'm not seeing him like at all. So he would do the music lessons, and then he would go do appointments, right? And so I was like, great, nice first year marriage, don't really see my husband at all, so that's cool. So he is off doing this thing, and I was kind of getting more and more like, okay, 5 love languages, my love language is quality time. So that wasn't happening very well, right? I barely saw him. So I was like, fine, what is this Prime America thing? I even had it labeled. I finally got the life pulled it out. I'm like, Prime America, there we go, right? I knew nothing about it. I was pretty clueless, okay? And so, he'd ask me to come to trainings, he'd ask me to come to these things. I was like, hey, yeah, this is your thing, like, whatever, no, I'm too busy. Like, I was pretty much working as much as Ian was at the church. We didn't have a day off, really. And so, after bugging me, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And so one day I remember that I'm really good at nagging. I don't know how many of you are really good at that. But there was a moment in our little condo where like time stood still. And Ian doesn't really ever raise his voice or get loud or anything. But it was like one of those like defining moments where it's like, if you don't stop nagging me, I'm going to quit. I'm going to stop doing this. And I remember like kind of everything spinning and blurry and freezing. Because he was making money at this point, right? So that was one good thing. And so I was like, wait a minute, I like this little extra money. I like having, money's a good thing, right? So I was like, well, no, I don't want you to quit. He's like, just say the word and I'll quit. And he was serious. It was one of those like serious moments. And he would have done that. I said, no, I don't want you to quit. He said, then you need to back off. You need to stop nagging. Let me do my thing. And I said, okay. I'll do that. I didn't agree to do anything more, but I agreed to stop nagging. So, time went on, he's going. So, every once in a while, he puts in, hey, there's this training, and there was a big FastStart like this, and he's like, it would mean a lot if you came. I was like, okay, I'll come, but it's a Saturday morning, and that is my only day, because Sunday church, we were there at 6 in the morning, so I was like, but I'm not coming on time. I'll show up, but I get there when I get there. And he was like, okay, whatever, just do what you gotta do. So I, crawl in the back, sit in the way back, and listen to this lady and whatnot. And Ian, he had just passed his life license. So this is so pretty. We got to go up and get his little pin. They give out pins, and I remember sitting back there, and I'm kind of emotional anyway, but I'm crying a little bit. I'm like, what's going on? They're all high-fiving. I'm not sure what. It's bizarre a little bit, okay? It's the first time. You're not really, you're just sitting back there watching. So they were talking about, dreams and what you're hearing, hope and all this stuff. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I'm still crying in the back row because all these dreams I locked away for the past whatever years, as we're, no money here, no money there, barely getting by. I began to see flickers of hope here. This may actually be a place where dreams do come true. It's not Disney World, but so I'm interesting. And then all of a sudden at the end, I think I even showed the Puerto Rico trip, they had a Cancun trip. And I was like, okay, we got to go to Jamaica on our honeymoon, but there was no other trip happening anytime soon. So if I go on a free, and it was all-inclusive this trip, all-inclusive trip, this would be the most amazing thing ever. So we left, and I high-fived, good job on the pen. I kind of had an idea of what was going on. I said, how do we win this trip? Can you win this thing? And he's like, yeah, I'm in the newly licensed category and everything, he's doing pretty good. I said, okay, well, so all of a sudden, I'm figuring out every day how to get on that computer, POL, what number are we? Where are we going? So I'm and he was like, if you get licensed, that could really give us some good points. So I was like, I'm getting licensed, all right. I knew nothing about nothing, but I knew Cancun sounded good, okay? So, mind you, the church crazy season's coming up. It's competition at the end of November. We have this big concert at our church. I take the weekend class. I go take the test 2 days later. It is the last day you can take this test to get the points. So talk about pressure. I'm like, I want to go to Cancun. And we're fighting for the last spot, okay? So I passed, and that test to pass got us to Cancun. And so, not that, so that was support. I still had no idea what I was doing, whatever. But we get to Cancun, fast forward a little bit, I'm a little more excited, It's kind of funny. I get this agenda that says meeting by the pool, meeting by the pool. It was a big fight. I was like, I thought this was vacation. What is going on? I gotta go to meetings. So we go to they're not, if you've never been, it's not all meetings. But anyway, we get there and I'm in these meetings and I'm again, the tears. I'm I don't know what's going on. It's even crazier high-fiving going on. And I see all these people with rings. I'm what is happening? What are the rings? I have no clue what's going on. They make at least $100,000. I'm $100,000? That dude makes $100,000? I was and that one? And that one? our jacuzzi tub, and we decided, you know what? He kind of already decided he was going to do this thing, but he's going to show you how he did it. But we came on board as a partnership. And we said, let's do this thing. I'm 100%. This is real. This isn't a couple $100 extra. This isn't maybe good some part-time money. This is life. Let's make this our life. Let's really do this. And so that was the defining moment where, we decided, big decisions made at big events, and that was our big event. Let's go RBQ. Let's make this our life. And so we did that, and we left there, and I decided whatever it took. If that meant I wasn't going to see him for 3-4 months, I wasn't going to see him for 3-4 months. And I was okay with that. Whatever the price was going to be to have to, if I had to talk to other people or whatever to help him and us do this, that we were going to get it done. And so he's going to show you that after I'm done. But we did it. We went RBQ in June, and he's going to show you how that happened, because I wasn't really super involved besides being supportive. But now I sit back and I think 7 years later, right? Not a long time, but kind of, a decent amount of time has passed. And I think, what if? Okay, partners, if you're in here and you left last night, I don't know what you said, or if your partner's not supportive or whatever, those are some things to think about. I mean, Ian kind of closed on it a little bit. But what if I would have, in that freezing moment in time, said, no, you're done. You know what, too much. This is it. What would my life look like? It's scary, and it's sad, because later we're going to show you pictures. None of those pictures would be true if this didn't happen to us. And was it hard work? He worked his butt off, and we worked our butts off together, but man, was it worth it. So worth it. What would our kids' lives look like? We have 3 amazing kids. We did that fast too. All right, they're 5, 4, 2. Right? Let's go. Let's do this. Well, would I have said, we can only have 2 because we can't afford it, right? Would we even have a 3rd? I don't know. What would their life look like? My mom ran daycare so she could be home to raise us. And some of those kids get dropped off at 4 weeks old. Are you a horrible parent if you drop a kid off at daycare? No, I'm not saying that. But that wasn't a decision. That wasn't something I wanted. I didn't want my kid's first word to be whatever the babysitter's name was. And I didn't want to miss all those milestones. Hey, your kid walked it. My mom went, hey, they took the first step today. Oh, their video cameras and pictures weren't a big thing then. They missed it. And so I got to be home I'm still home with my kids. And I say, I do. Ian says, aren't you glad we're here? And I said, I love it when I get here, but I'm not a fan of leaving them. I'm having it is great, but those kids are our world. And I've been able to be there for every step of the way. Our kids have an amazing life, right? You're going to see it later. They go to private schools, and they've been like, our littlest one, Hawaii twice, our oldest one, Hawaii twice, Puerto Rico, I can go on and on this list where she's been with the company and then with us, but they're living a life that just unreal, like the experiences and what they get to see and what they get to do, and like we're going to start homeschooling her in the fall so we can live out of Michigan. That one was the worst ever, and we're out of here, so we're going to Florida for like 6 or 8 weeks out of the year, but we get to do that. And she said, Mom, she's a really social Primerica kid, and she loves people, so that was the only thing. I got to make sure she gets those relationships. But she goes, I got a great idea for homeschooling. Good, because I've been asking her, what do you want to do? She goes, let's see the world. I said, we're gonna, and we're really gonna. She's gonna see the world. Can you offer that to your kids? That's amazing. So partners, if you're new, first time here, if your partner's not here and you couldn't drag him here like Ian actually got me. Okay, if you're old, not old, but if you've been around for a while, right? You've been doing this thing. There are so many roles, but the most important one is to be supportive, right? It's totally worth it. No matter what the road is, no matter what you guys find yourself in, there's many roles. When we first started, I was joking in the car on the way here last night. Ian, you saw his picture last night. We were like young married, okay? That didn't happen. Like still our friends are kind of getting married. The babies are just starting. Like we're way advanced in Michigan. I don't know. They're behind or something. But we didn't know people who had girlfriends, like all of his agents. I was like, can you just get a girlfriend, even temporary, so I can run partnership? Anything. Like I didn't have people be like, how's your partnership? I'm like, it's me. Like, what do you want? I'm a great partner now, Like the partnership, that program wasn't a program for like years pretty much, right? So just, staying supportive, doing whatever you can. I was good at running the office, so I ran the office until I